Have you ever been in a situation, gentlemen, and I mean specifically you, Stephen, where you're on the field, you're a footballer, being paid well enough, and then all of a sudden your manager asks you to go, and you've just refused to go off the pitch? I'm alluding to what happened between Chelsea and Manchester City, Kepa and Sarri.
No, I've never been in that situation, thankfully. I've always just walked off because I know I'm having a bad game. You're right. Yeah. No, I think it's shocking, isn't it? Like you question your manager's decision, and I think there's been situations where a manager can get it wrong and say, I thought you were injured. I know there was a sort of, they're trying to spin that now and say that's the situation, and you actually turn around and say, no, I'm okay, I can stay on the pitch, and he goes, all right, great, that's fine. Yeah. But you could see from Sarri's reaction yesterday, the way he was sort of ripping his jacket open. He went to walk down the tunnel, didn't he, and go into the changing room, and then he suddenly thought, hang about, I can't do that, I'm going to have to come back. And but I mean, as a player as well, if you were on the pitch and that happened, I would be thinking, hang about, I think you're being a bit out of line there. That's the manager's decision. You've got to do the right thing.
This is the question. Does this show the real lack of leadership amongst the playing group? Because you could imagine if it was Steven Gerrard, Roy Keane or Vieira was there on the field.
It's not happening, is it?
It's not going to happen. So
No. The thing is as well is that it's been questioned over the last few weeks and months about Chelsea. Is there any leaders within the group? But that goes for the staff as well. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine staff who I've worked for in the past, if you were disrespecting the manager like that, imagine one of the staff members would jump out the dugout as well and sort of be saying, get off the pitch now.
Only Zola was doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, I just think the players on the pitch should have been sort of pushing him off as well, saying, listen, you've got to go off or whatever. But then if he's turning around to the player, because I saw the picture where he's sort of with David Luiz, and you're wondering if he's turning around saying to David Luiz, no, I'm actually fine, I don't want to come off. And David Luiz doesn't know why the manager's bringing him off. He thinks it is because of an injury. I think that's the difficult thing to know, is was he actually bringing him off because he thought he was injured, or was he bringing him off because he thought that Caballero would have been a better option to go into the penalties? And that's the difficult decision that we don't know and we're not being privy to.
How does it sit with you just in general that it's not a rule that you can actually refuse to be taken off? I mean, I didn't know that. It's sort of come out since I've seen that they've said, listen, it's not actually a rule that says you must come off.
Yeah. I think it's just an unwritten rule, isn't it? That you go.
Have you ever seen it happen before?
I've never seen it
happen.
I've actually thought about it in my mind a few times. Not that I was coming off, but just in general, I've thought to myself, what would happen if a player refused to come off the ground?
Yeah, I mean, you see it, don't you? Where you go, like you zoom in on a player,
and they're angry,
going, me, and they shake their head and they're like, and then you see them swearing and what have you, saying like, I can't believe this or whatever. But they never refuse to come off the pitch. It is bizarre, very bizarre.
But does that summarize what Chelsea is all about? I mean, when is it that someone's going to say something about, you've got to look at the owner of the football club, the director of the football club that has allowed this environment to grow? Have you, like you said, you've never seen anything like this before. You would never see it any line of work outside of football where a guy goes like, no, you're fired, no, not today.
No. But imagine, you talk about the structure of Chelsea there, but if Mourinho or Conte was in charge of that, do you think that player wouldn't have walked off the pitch?
I pose this question.
Do you think there would have been that discussion, that argument back at the manager? I don't think there would have been. I think it's because of the sort of comments that Sarri's made about the squad of late.
Do you think the fact that he hasn't won a trophy as a manager loses him a lot of credit amongst a group of players that have all sort of won before?
Possibly. When you often get I mean, I don't know what your sort of feeling is. When you get a new manager in or you go into work for a manager, I can usually suss him out within 2-3 days. And you know what he's about and whether he's good or whether he's bad or whether he can handle a group of players or whether he can't, just by the rules that he set out and then the way the training is. The strange thing for Chelsea is that he came in and he had an instant hit with them. Players were playing with a smile on their face, they were enjoying the football. And it's the old saying that when you lose a couple of games, that's when it becomes tough, and that's when the manager really earns his stripes and he has to sort of step up to the plate. He hasn't done that for me. He's gone against his team, which is the worst thing that he can do.
We spoke about this. So in your opinion, is this like a good thing for this to happen, so the whole world can see how bad it's gotten at that football club right now? So something has to change.
I think it helps Sarri's position. I think Sarri could have looked at it and said, this is bad for me. In the last few weeks especially, I could be getting the sack at this point. There could be a phone call any day to say, right, that's you done, next one's coming in. Whereas now it looks like everyone's probably looking from the outside saying, what is he actually what is he dealing with within that changing room? If Kepa's doing that, what are the rest of the squad doing as well within the training ground and on the pitch? So he actually comes out of it in a better light, Sarri, because everyone feels sorry for him.
Because the commentators were going, like, you feel bad for the manager, he's trying to change, he's trying to do this. And it went from, I wouldn't say hate or it's time for him to go, to sympathy. And has he bought himself some time with this whole fiasco?
Possibly, but then knowing, or not knowing him personally, but seeing Abramovich, he's a ruthless guy, and he might look at it in a different way and say, well, he hasn't got control of the team. Because you saw the incident yesterday where Jordan Henderson comes off and he walks past Klopp and he doesn't shake his hand, drags him back, and he does it in front of the cameras, make sure that everyone knows that he's the boss and that he's not having it. Now straight away, if I'm the board owner there, or the owner of Liverpool Football Club, I'm thinking, my man's in charge. And if he looks at the Chelsea game, the game after, he's thinking, this man's not in charge. And he doesn't have the respect of the players.